So, you've probably heard the name Kubernetes getting tossed around a lot, right? But what is it really? What does it actually do? Well, in a nutshell, it's like the invisible conductor behind this huge symphony of apps we use every single day. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and see how this digital maestro keeps the whole show running smoothly. All right, but to really get why Kubernetes is so important, we first have to understand the problem it was built to solve. And funny enough, that problem, it starts with something every developer dreams of, just wild, runaway success. So let's just imagine for a second. You build a fantastic app. You push it out into the world and boom, overnight, it just explodes. What happens then? I mean, you've got a flood of new users, your traffic is going through the roof, and what used to be a nice, simple, easy to manage system is now, well, it's chaos. To handle all that new demand, your app gets broken down into hundreds, maybe thousands, of these tiny little packages called containers. Each one is holding a little piece of your code. And this creates a really interesting paradox. The very containers that let you scale up also create this massive, massive management headache. It turns out, success, well, it creates chaos. And we're not talking about a small headache here. We're talking about a full-blown nightmare. All of a sudden, your team has to manually juggle all of this stuff. How do you scale up instantly when traffic spikes? What do you do when a container fails at 3 in the morning? How do you make sure the load is spread out evenly so nothing gets overloaded? And the big one, how on earth do you update the app without taking it offline and making all your new users angry? Doing all that by hand, it's just about impossible. So how do you conduct this massive, chaotic orchestra of containers without completely losing your mind? You need a conductor, a digital one, and this is right where Kubernetes steps onto the stage. Put simply, Kubernetes, or K8s as you'll often hear it called, is an open source platform that originally came from Google. And its whole job is to automate all of those crazy, chaotic tasks we just talked about. It's designed to take that manual management nightmare and just transform it into a smooth, automated, self-running system. You know, here's probably the best way to think about it. If a single container running your app is like a car, then Kubernetes is the entire city's traffic control system. It's not worried about driving just one car. No, it's managing thousands of them across all the roads, which are your servers, making sure every single car gets where it needs to go, safely and efficiently. So how does it actually do all that? Well, Kubernetes isn't just some simple manager. It has what you could almost call automated superpowers. These powers let it handle immense complexity with, honestly, a lot of grace. Okay, one of its most incredible abilities is self-healing. So let's say a container running a part of your app just crashes. Before a human engineer even gets an alert on their phone, Kubernetes has already detected the failure, reacted, and automatically spun up a brand new, healthy replacement. It's like having this tireless robot engineer on duty 24/7. And self-healing is really just the beginning. It handles scaling automatically, adding more containers when traffic is high, and getting rid of them when it's low. It intelligently balances all the traffic so no one part gets overwhelmed. It can roll out brand new updates to your app with zero downtime for your users. And it even helps all those little containers find and communicate with each other automatically. It's a game changer. So those are its superpowers. But how does it all actually work? To really get a grasp on its power, we need to quickly look at a few of its fundamental building blocks. Everything, and I mean everything, in the Kubernetes world starts with something called the pod. It's the smallest, most basic unit in the whole system. You can think of it like a little protective wrapper that holds one or more of your app's containers, letting them work tightly together and share resources. So where do these pods live? They run on a node. A node is simply a worker machine. It could be a real physical server sitting in a data center or a virtual machine living in the cloud. This is the actual hardware, the muscle, that provides the power to run all your pods. And when you group a whole set of these nodes together, you get a cluster. The cluster is the whole orchestra, and this is where the real magic happens. If an entire server, an entire node, just fails, Kubernetes automatically moves all of its pods over to other healthy nodes in the cluster. And to your users, nothing changes. The app just keeps on working. You can really split this whole architecture into two simple roles. First, you've got the control plane. That's the brain of the whole operation. It makes all the decisions. And then you have the worker nodes. That's the muscle. All those servers doing the actual heavy lifting of running your application.
Now, I know this might all sound a little bit abstract, but I can pretty much guarantee that you interact with systems managed by Kubernetes every single day. Let's look at some real-world examples.
That's right. The biggest names in tech, the services you use for streaming movies, listening to music, booking your vacation, they all rely on Kubernetes to handle their massive global operations. I mean, just take Netflix. Every single time you hit play on a show, you're tapping into this enormous infrastructure that's being orchestrated by Kubernetes. It's what allows them to handle millions of people streaming at the same time, recommend new shows, and constantly update their service without you ever noticing so much as a hiccup.
So, what does this all mean for the future? Well, it means the way we build and run software has fundamentally changed. The future is all about orchestration.
And this is why it's the future. Kubernetes delivers on the biggest promises of cloud computing: the scalability to handle any amount of traffic, the reliability to stay online 24/7, the portability to run your app pretty much anywhere, and the efficiency to do it all without wasting resources. Now, let's be totally honest here. It's not magic. Kubernetes is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's also famous for being complex. It has a really steep learning curve, and getting a cluster set up and managed the right way takes some serious expertise. But for all its complexity, the goal of Kubernetes really boils down to this one powerful idea. It takes care of the heavy lifting. By handling the insane challenge of running software at a massive scale, it frees up developers to focus on what they do best: building the amazing applications that we all love and use. Kubernetes basically proved that even the most complex systems can be tamed and managed automatically. Today, it's the conductor for so much of the internet itself, which really just leaves one big question: what are we going to